I'm Jeff Philbin, dishing up great ideas for dinner and showing you how to get them on your plate. Today, we're doing dumplings as we take a masterclass in making gnocchi. Our guest today is a globe-trotting gourmet. Originally from California, he's cooked across the Golden State, plus Chicago, Miami, even Spain, and opened Nutwood in Winter Haven back in 2017. Welcome, Chef Steven, my friend.
Thanks for having me.
So excited to have you here today.
Absolutely.
Chef Steven is bringing us a culinary classic today. Gnocchi made from scratch with a pomodoro sauce. We turn the humble potato into a decadent dinner-time treat. That's a classic right there.
It is. Yeah, classics are always the best.
That's
why they're classics.
That's why they're classics. That's why we still love them to this day.
Right.
With like gnocchi. This is a tried and true. It's a tried and true. How do we get started with this?
All right, so first thing is we're gonna poke some holes into the potatoes so they steam out. Mm-hmm. And then we're gonna put some salt over the top of these. If you want to grab the salt,
I would.
Just put a little bit over that. Mm-hmm. And the salt does sort of.
Enough salt? More salt? What do you think?
More salt. Yeah.
Let's go for it.
Sort of wanna. There you go.
Bottoms up.
Yeah, it gives it leaches the moisture out of it, so it makes a better dough.
Very nice. Now those are going to go into the oven. What's the temperature? How long should they be in the oven for?
So we put them in for about an hour and 20 minutes, an hour and a half, depends on the calibration on your oven, but about 400 degrees.
Okay, fantastic. So while the potatoes cook in the oven, we got to start working on the sauce.
Yes. So these are San Marzano tomatoes. We don't really want to use the juice, just the actual tomato pulp. If you don't mind,
I'd love to help.
Crushing it up a little bit, and I'll just chop or slice the garlic while you do that.
I'd love to.
So we're doing a little slice here.
A little slice, man. Like that was like lightning fast over there, my friend. The knife skills.
I don't know any other way to do it.
Yeah, you just kind of go on one speed, one mode, and that's it. It's just go.
That's it, man.
To grab the recipe to make your own gnocchi or just to see how to spell it, go to dinnerDeeAs.com to follow along on your phone while you watch. Just open the camera app and get close or just zoom in on the QR code, which we put down there in the corner of the screen. When your camera recognizes it, a link to us will appear. Just press it to get to us.
So the garlic there,
just gonna
sort of a light simmer.
Okay.
You don't want to brown it. So you sort of want to have a little dance there a little bit.
You just want to kind of just, do its little thing, but not really
exactly. Just like that. You can start smelling the garlic.
It's already starting to waft in here, absolutely.
So at this point, we add a little bit of salt just to help the juices come out of the garlic a little bit.
Love it.
And then if you notice, it's sort of swimming in the olive oil because that oil sort of rises to the top, and then rises to the top, it's pretty much done.
Did I soften the tomatoes? Did I crush it to the way to your liking?
This is perfect. This is
I crushed rustic.
You crushed it. Exactly.
You've got a child who's 9 years old. I've got a child who's 7 years old. You got to have the bad dad joke every once in a while.
Yeah,
it comes with the territory.
And then we cook that for about maybe 20 minutes. I like to put the lid on it, so it sort of concentrates its flavor a little bit.
Very nice. Okay. While the sauce cooks down, we're taking a quick break. When we come back, how this little bad boy can turn the potatoes we have in the oven into a delicious dinner ahead on Dinner Deeas. Welcome back to Dinner Deeas. Chef Steven Rojas is with us today. He owns Nutwood in the heart of Winter Haven, and today we're making gnocchi from scratch with a pomodoro sauce. Before the break, we got the potatoes ready for our gnocchi by making little holes in the skin, then place them on a baking sheet, adding a shower of salt, and giving them an hour in the oven while we started on our traditional pomodoro sauce, sweating down garlic and adding in hand-crushed tomatoes and letting that all simmer. Now these potatoes just came straight out of the oven here, and all you're just doing here is just kind of getting all the excess salt off, it looks like?
Yeah, a little bit of the extra salt, plus the water is seasoned as well, so you don't want it to season it too much. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna put it over here.
Okay.
I'm gonna split these in half to get a little bit of the steam out, so they're not too hot to handle.
Okay.
But you don't want to wait till they get completely cold, because what happens is you tend to over flour it, and it gets dense.
Yeah.
And these are supposed to be nice and fluffy and airy,
Light.
almost like textured mashed potato.
Totally.
Like, you know what I mean? So
It's just a cloud. It's a pillow.
it's a pillow. It's exactly what it is. So I'm gonna.
And what is
leave
this here?
over here? This is a ricer. I mean, you can get these anywhere. We need 3 egg yolks.
Got it.
You can do that. I'm gonna do this. So the potatoes are nice and soft.
Could you use a masher, or do you really need to use that?
You could use a masher or something that's gonna you don't want big chunks of potato.
Okay.
Right? So it's essentially a dough, so you don't want any big chunks of anything in there.
Okay.
All right, so that's pretty much good there. I'm gonna put this over here.
Very good.
And before I do that, I'm gonna dust the bottom of this with a little bit of flour.
Very nice.
Just for now. Look at that. Nice little even layer. And try to pinch if there's any clumps of flour in there, so you don't want any big clumps of flour in your dough.
Mm-hmm.
And let's pour it over the top, just like that. So basically, I use, if they're large potatoes, it's 1 egg yolk per potato.
Okay.
If there's on the smaller side, then 1.5 egg yolks, something like that.
So plate to the size of the potato, and you're not just pushing all of it in one central area. You
got to
spread it out.
Exactly. It makes it easier when you actually make the dough.
Okay.
Mix it even, just like that. And it's important that you have flour in the bottom of the potato, because you don't want the potato to stick to the table.
So it creates that nice little barrier here.
Exactly. Okay. So I tend to work a little fast with this, just because.
Sure.
Just because you don't want the potatoes to cool too much. And then at this point, you could add the eggs.
And now this is going to just follow that same length here.
Just we'll make a little well.
Okay.
That goes in there. Yeah, perfect. The whole egg. Just like that. Perfect. And then you could grab some of that butter right there that we have melted, and then pour it right over the well as well. Perfect. Just like that.
So this is one where it's like you have to have everything set up, ready for you to
Everything has to be
go.
ready to go. Exactly.
Because timing is critical here.
Yeah, you want to do this dough fast. It's just one of the probably the most complicated part of this dish is the actual dough making, or the actual gnocchi. Everything else is easy, but as long as you have everything ready to go, it's just like in anything. You cooking anything has to be ready to go. You don't want to stop what you're doing and grab the ingredients.
Now, by working quick though, are you going to be burning your hand though? Is that ever a concern?
No, I mean you could use a towel.
Okay.
And towel probably helps, but it doesn't have to be. I mean, I take it pretty far. You could wait a couple minutes.
Okay.
It's not a big deal, but I like to work fast just because I'm just so used to doing it. I mean, we're used to making pounds and pounds of gnocchi.
And it's just go mode for you.
Yeah,
I mean, I saw the knife skills just a little bit ago, so it's go mode for you all the time with this.
Yeah. So, but you could definitely take your time, make sure you do it right. But you want to do it slightly warm is okay.
Now, what are you doing right now?
So we're sort of mixing it without actually kneading it like a typical dough. You sort of want to fluff it up a little bit so it's not so. You don't want to work the potato into the flour too much. So you sort of mix it up without actually, incorporating too much flour in it. And the one thing I did forget to put is nutmeg. It's fresh nutmeg.
And there was no kneading.
Almost no kneading. Oop. And then a little bit more flour.
Wow, you can smell that nutmeg right there.
Yeah.
That's very
It's
nice.
fresh stuff.
How'd you know that you need to add just a little bit more flour to it there?
Just by the look of it.
Okay. What kind of look are you looking for then?
You want it to be somewhat grainy,
Okay.
a little not too mealy, but when you put it together, it should hold like that.
Okay.
So this is basically what you want. You want to separate this into 2 pieces of dough. So you gonna help me?
Oh, I'd love to.
and I'll do the other side,
Okay.
and then we'll do the other side. And I think the biggest thing here is consistent size.
Mm-hmm.
So they all cook the same way. So, they cook evenly. So we're at home, right? So it doesn't have to be super fancy. You don't have to have a paddle like this.
Mm-hmm.
You could use a fork as well. But if you do happen to have one of these, we'll just, we'll just do it that way.
I love how communal this is as a dish.
Oh, absolutely.
This is one where everyone can get involved at every stage. When I met my mother-in-law for the first time, this was literally how we got introduced to each other. It was like, hey, Jeff, you want to make some gnocchi with me? I was
That's
like,
awesome.
Yeah, let's do that. So this is a real treat to be doing this here with you.
Yeah, awesome. So look, see? Nice and even.
Mm-hmm.
Just like that. Perfect.
Now, how's mine looking?
A little bit thinner.
A little bit thinner. You want me to go a little bit thinner?
A little
All
bit
right.
thinner,
Well, to roll out your own gnocchi like I have to do right now to make it a little bit thinner for dinner tonight, all you need is a potato and Chef Steven's recipe. Grab it at dinnerdeas.com. Just scan the QR code to get right to us.
So I'm pretty much cutting them more or less the same size.
All right. And what is that size right there? What'd you say? About an inch?
About an inch. About an inch.
Okay.
Right? And then, cool little technique, you put a little bit of flour on the paddle.
Okay.
So what happens is when you press the potato, it doesn't stick to the grooves. You just press it like that and you twist it.
So push, twist. Let's see that one more time. I want to get a little closer here with the Chef Jeff cam on this one here.
So you get the sliced part down like that. And with the side of your thumb, you just pressed. And then you twist. You basically make a scissor shape like that. Just like that.
Boom. Very cool. Easy to find online?
Absolutely. I think I got this in Amazon like years ago for like $10.
Now, if you didn't have one though, could you use a fork?
Absolutely, you could.
How would you do it with a fork?
So with a fork, I would do the same thing. Put a little bit of flour so it doesn't stick to the thing, and then smooth this out of the way. And then I would go just like that.
Perfect.
The groove's a little bit bigger.
The groove's a little bit bigger,
But it's okay because we have a tomato sauce, and the grooves are meant to catch the sauce. So there you
Love
go.
it. Very
One
nice.
more. Just like that.
Very cool. Well, as we roll out the rest of our gnocchi, we're taking a break. But when we come back, how to perfectly plate it with our pomodoro sauce ahead on Dinner Diaz. Welcome back to Dinner Diaz. Chef Steven Rojas is with us from Nutwood in Winter Haven, here today making a homemade gnocchi with the pomodoro sauce. Before the break, we took our baked potatoes, scooped out the flesh, pushed it through a ricer, adding egg yolks, flour, Parmesan cheese, and a little nutmeg. Then making a dough without kneading and rolling it out, cutting it into pieces using a gnocchi paddle to shape each one perfectly. Then during the break, we started cooking them up in simmering salt water. And you know that they're done once they start floating, so
once they start floating, you pretty much know it's done. The eggs are cooked. The flour is completely hydrated. And they're fluffy. They're super fluffy. And then it goes directly into the sauce. And we don't really want to cook this too much, just like we do like a dried pasta, like you cook it in the sauce, usually. But you want the sauce to be done all the way, and then you sort of want to turn off the heat because you don't want these potatoes or these gnocchi to overcook.
And this is just an absolutely simple pomodoro sauce. Crushed San Marzano tomatoes, olive oil, garlic. That was it.
That's it. And at this point, we're going to add a little bit of, a little bit means this much.
This much, no.
So we melt the butter a little bit on that. And then meanwhile, what you could do to help us out, or help me out,
Absolutely.
it's just break that burrata up a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. We're just going to go half.
Yeah, just one.
Okay.
Just one. Just break it up a little bit. I'm going to turn up the heat on this a little bit.
Now, for those that might not have had burrata, what are they having with burrata? What's it taste like? What is it?
Well, it's like basically it's a mozzarella with a creamy texture inside. If you heard of stracciatella, it's basically what's inside the mozzarella.
Okay.
So mozzarella on the outside, stracciatella in the middle. And I like using
Pure
it.
deliciousness all over.
Yeah, I mean, I like using it because it gives a nice little creaminess to the dish as well.
I love it.
So that's pretty much done. I'm gonna turn off the heat, and I'm gonna just go ahead and start plating.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah.
And then this morning, I stopped by my friend's farm.
Okay.
It's Will Crum. He's got a farm called Farmer Will.
Farmer Will, all right.
Out of Lakeland, and he had this beautiful basil. And we're going to sort of pick it a little bit like that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I want to help you on this one because I want to smell and taste.
Do that.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
And then a little bit of cracked pepper over the top.
Oh, beautiful.
And then we garnish it with a little bit of burrata just to give it a little creaminess to it.
Mm-hmm. So nice.
And that's it.
Absolutely beautiful. To grab Chef Steven's gnocchi recipe, head to dinnerdias.com where you can even watch this whole episode over again if you want to rewatch how we made the gnocchi. Just scan the QR code down in the corner of the screen to get to us. And don't forget, you can watch any episode of Dinner Dias anytime at youtube.com/DinnerDias. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave us a comment. That's what Cristino did. They watched the pad thai recipe shared by Chef Billy Deck and left a comment. This is awesome. And you know what else is awesome? Christina is watching us over in Bahrain in the Persian Gulf. Hi, Christina. That is super cool that you can be global and be watching this. If you're watching this on YouTube, let us know what continent you're watching us in. We're taking one last break, but when we come back, we taste test Chef Steven's gnocchi ahead on Dinner Dias. Welcome back to Dinner Dias. Chef Steven Rojas is with us today from Nutwood in Winter Haven, where he serves up a seasonal menu of inspired, sustainable local fare. He's been sharing how to make your own gnocchi today from scratch, served with a simple pomodoro sauce. And we also made the king of salads, a crab louis. And to watch a video of that recipe, find it on our website, dinnerdias.com. Now, this gnocchi, my friend.
Yeah.
Dude, it's like staring at us. Like, we've got the burrata kind of like already melting. It's creamy.
That's when it's the best.
That's when it's like the absolute best.
For sure. Let's try it.
Okay. You only had about a half a dozen ingredients in this. Simple as anything, but just elevate it to such a fine way to just celebrate great ingredients.
I think it's using good ingredients, obviously, but it's also because it's so simple. It's the technique is more than anything. You know, the technique is the most important, I think.
And that technique allows you to have a absolutely beautiful, fluffy, light, airy gnocchi.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you get the store-bought stuff. They're dense. They're firm. They just really don't have that same kind of like love.
Right. It gives a bad name for gnocchi.
It really does. When this is actually to be celebrated in a way that is the way that a gnocchi should taste.
Right. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Absolutely fantastic.
It means a lot.
All right. Now we have the king of salads over here. This absolute beautiful, beautiful crab louis here. And that pomodoro sauce, just get that little bit right there. All of it just ready to party.
A little bit of bread, and that's it.
That's it. But we didn't start with the salad, but now we're going to celebrate the salad here. So walk us through some of these flavors.
Well, yeah, I mean, I sort of, I need to talk about these tomatoes. They're really particularly special. These are actually for my buddy, Will Crum.
Okay.
He's a farmer out of Lakeland. And it's funny how he came about these tomatoes. Yeah, it was a hurricane we had about 6 years ago. A couple months later, these tomatoes just started popping up out of nowhere. He wasn't growing tomatoes, but these started popping up out of nowhere. And he figured out that it was after the hurricane. It just got swept, and it just started sprouting everywhere. And he started getting the seeds and cultivating them, and he has them every year now. And right now, they're at their peak.
They're absolutely beautiful.
They're like sugar bombs.
Like, for being so tiny.
Yeah, they pack a punch, don't they?
But with so much beautiful flair.
Yeah.
And so juicy. Like, it's almost like deceiving how much.
You gotta do an ultimate bite with everything together.
Oh, I've been going right into it. I took a little from there. I took a little from there. I went all in. And you know what's been really fun too is seeing this absolutely gorgeous avocado that is not bruised at all.
Yep.
There is absolutely no oxidation to it because you took extra steps to truly preserve all of the integrity of it. What did you do there again?
Well, what we did is we peeled it very carefully so it doesn't have any marks on it. Cut it in half, took the pit out. And then I made a quick brine. It's lemon juice, salt, about 2%, so it's pretty salty. And you put it in for like maybe 5 to 10 minutes, no more than that. And what happens is the lemon juice sort of makes the green a little brighter, and it seasons the avocado. So you don't really need to add any more seasoning. It's basically just a brined avocado.
And I gotta tell you,
And it goes deep inside the actual meat of the avocado, and it's like perfectly seasoned.
and for a Duke's boy, I gotta give it to you, my friend. The QP mayo that you have here as just that nice little bit.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that.
It's absolutely working, dude. It's
you.
absolutely working. Thanks again to Chef Steven. Grab the recipes for his gnocchi, the sauce, and the crab louie at dinnerdeas.com, where we also have a link to his Winter Haven restaurant in Nutwood. I'm Jeff Philbin. Thanks for watching, and see you next time with more Dinner Diaz. Dude,
Thanks.
that was out of this world. Fantastic.